Okay, hello everyone. So our topic for today is all about microbial interactions, and that is for chapter 6. Okay, so wala tayong pupunta ulit dun sa mga environmental and ecological microbial interactions. So, interactions among microbial populations. Under natural conditions, a microorganism does not really exist in isolation. So parang human lang din ang mga microorganisms. No man is an island. Okay? Individual cell multiplies and forms a group. We call it a clone of similar individuals called population. Okay? Population of virus, population of a specific species, etc. Numerous populations of different character coexist also. And microbial populations that live together at a particular location interact with each other to form a microbial community. Okay, so you have learned naman from mga ecology subject or even in the crop science subjects, no? They keep on mentioning the population, community, the niche, like those. So, we have here interaction within a single microbial population and interaction between diverse microbial populations. So, in a single microbial population, we have here a positive interaction or cooperation. Okay? And also negative interaction or competition. And also, in under diverse microbial populations, there are the different interactions or the different relationships between diverse or between various microorganisms. So it could be neutralism, commensalism, synergism, or proto-cooperation, mutualism or symbiosis, competition, Commensalism, parasitism, predation, and okay, so later on. Now, neutralism is this positive interaction or negative interaction. Parasitism, positive ba yan or negative interaction? Okay, so identify mo din kung ano ba yan, positive or negative relationship or interaction. For positive interaction, so it is defined as the increase of the growth rate of the population. So with increasing population density, positive interactions theoretically increase the growth rate to some asymptotic limit. And positive interaction predominates at low population. Okay? Kasi wala pang competition kapag low yung population. Mangyayari lang yung competition if there is high population because with high population, they will now start to compete with their needs or their necessities. Okay? For example, yung mga nutrients that they need, the space that they need. Okay? Okay, positive interaction, this is a cooperation within a single microbial population that is evidenced by an extended lag period or a complete failure for growth when a very small inoculum is used. For negative interaction naman, this decreases the growth rate as the population density increases. Okay? So, ano ba yan? Indirect yung relationship, no? Okay? So, as the population density increases, yung growth rate will decrease. Growth rates above the optimal population density are strongly influenced. Because members of a microbial population all utilize the same substrate and occupy the same ecological niche, if an individual within the population metabolizes a substrate molecule, then that molecule is then not available for the other members of the population. Okay? Kasi kinonsume na nung isa. Okay? So, doon na mangyari yung mga competition and other microbial interactions. Okay, so we have here, okay, so under positive interaction, no, we have neutralism, mutualism, commensalism, and synergism or proto-cooperation. And then under negative interaction naman, we have commensalism, predation, parasitism, and competition. So these words are not new to you, ha? Okay? We also have yung syntrophism. Okay? It is also under positive interaction. Okay? Hindi ko lang siya nadagdag. So, yung syntrophism na yun, yung growth of one organism can be improved by another organism. Kaya siya positive. And ini-improve ng isang organism kahit na wala siyang nakukuha from that organism. Okay, so parang unaffected. Okay, we also have this allele principle. So both positive and negative interactions may occur even within a single population. And there is a combined effect of a positive and negative interactions within a population. At the low population densities, positive interactions predominate, and at high population densities, negative interactions are dominant. That is the allele principle. So with this principle, there is a balance of population. So there is the increase and then the decrease. Now, kapag kasi positive interaction ang nangyari dyan, then what will happen? There will be an increase of population, but then later on kasi, it will decrease. Okay, hindi pwedeng continuous yung growth niyan. It will decrease and it will decrease kapag na-reach niya yung maximum. Okay, so let us one by one know the characteristics of these different microbial interactions. So let's start with neutralism. Okay, so neutralism, the concept implies a lack of interaction between two microbial populations. So yung effect is zero for both organisms. So organism A is unaffected, organism B is unaffected. Wala silang pakialam sa isa't isa, okay? They don't care about each other. Wala. Okay, I will do my thing and then you'll do your thing. Okay, production of spores, cysts, and similar resting bodies during periods of environmental stress such as excessive heat or drought allows microbial population to enter relationship of neutralism. So this is an example. And the only significant interaction is that with the environment. So microorganism interaction with the environment, but not microorganism to microorganism or any organism to organism. Okay? So, no interaction at all. Neutral lang sila. So, for mutualism naman, or symbiosis, okay, ito yung very common when we talk about microbial interaction or microbial relationship. And when it comes to the positive, okay, so this is an extended synergism. This is an obligatory relationship between two populations. Okay, both populations are benefited. Okay, give and take ang ginagawa nila. And this requires physical proximity. It is also highly specific. One member of the association cannot be replaced by one member of the association related species. So we have here an example. So is yung lichens. Okay? Diba yung lichens, this explains the relationship between the algae and the fungi, wherein the lichen will provide shelter to the algae, while the algae will provide the nutrients that is needed by the lichens. Okay? Same true with rhizobium and then legume roots. Okay? The rhizobium helps the plant in the fixation of nitrogen. Kasi hindi naman basta-basta kasi ina-absorb ang nitrogen, no? It has to be fixed. has to be transformed into an available form so that the root of the plants can absorb. Okay, so and then what does the legume roots provide? Of course, it also provides shelter to the rhizobium. And then another one is yung azolla and then Anabaena azolae. Okay, yung azolla plant, fern pala, azolla fern, and then yung microorganisms, the Anabaena azolae. So, mutual din yung relationship ng mga ito. Okay, and other examples. So, marami pa. Okay, next is the commensalism. Okay, ito namang commensalism, one population benefits while the other remains unaffected. Okay, so ang relationship niya is 0, yung unaffected na organism, and then yung isa is positive, of course, kasi it has benefited from the other organism. Commensalism means came from Latin word mensa, meaning table. One organism lives off the table, scraps of another. Okay, so ayun nga, nag-benefit yung isa unaffected. So example is facultative anaerobes utilizes oxygen and lowers oxygen tension. And this creates a habitat suitable for obligate anaerobes. So ano yung nag-benefit dito? These obligate anaerobes. And yung facultative anaerobes, they are unaffected. So they are unaware that in their utilization of oxygen, they are creating a habitat for the obligate anaerobes. So, diba? Another one, non-pathogenic E. coli found in the intestinal tract of human. And then Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter. Okay, yung relationship ng dalawang ito. They always go together, di ba? In a nitrification cycle. Okay, so Nitrosomonas oxidizes ammonia into nitrite, and then the Nitrobacter uses the nitrite to obtain energy and oxidize into nitrate. So, sino yung nag-benefit dito? It is the Nitrobacter. So, unaware na naman si Nitrosomonas dun sa ginawa niya. So, doon sa pag-oxidize niya ng ammonia, Nitrobacter has benefited. Okay? So, that is commensalism. 0, unaffected yung isa, and then nag-benefit yung isa. And we also have this syntrophism, wherein the growth of one organism is improved by the substrate provided by another microorganism. And it is a mutual dependence of different types of organisms for the satisfaction of their respective nutritional needs. The intermediate or end products of metabolism of one organism are essential materials for another. Syntrophism is exemplified in the mixed population of an ecosystem. So an example is the methane produced by the methanogenic bacteria depends on the interspecies hydrogen transfer by other fermentative bacteria. Okay, so they are almost the same with commensalism, but the only difference is that there is an improvement of the other because of the provision of something by another organism. That is why this syntrophism is also a positive 0 and positive interaction. Okay, next is synergism or proto-cooperation. Both populations benefit from the relationship. This synergism is that ito yung relationship wherein they could they could stand alone by themselves, but if they will cooperate with one another, okay, mas malaki yung benefit na makukuha nila. So, unlike mutualism, the association is not obligatory. Both populations are capable of surviving in their natural environment on their own. The association is loose in the sense that one member of the population is often easily replaced by another. So we have here an example. Desulfovibrio and chromatium. This is a photocooperation between the carbon cycle and the sulfur cycle. So whatever involved in the carbon cycle na microorganisms plus the microorganisms that are involved in the sulfur cycle are cooperating with one another. Okay? And with that, both have benefited. Okay? So, ano ba yung involved sa carbon cycle? The desulfovibrio. And then sa sulfur cycle naman, it is the chromatium. And then, nitrogen-fixing bacteria and cellulitic bacteria or cellulomonas. Okay. Okay. So, after yung mga positive interactions kanina, let us go naman sa mga negative interactions. So we have here competition, negative relationship between two populations, and both populations are affected negatively. So they are adversely affected with respect to their survival. They compete. This occurs when two populations utilizes the same source, whether space or limiting nutrients. So kapag the same yung kanilang necessities, then then competition will occur. It follows the competition exclusion principle, wherein it precludes two populations from occupying exactly the same niche, because one will win the competition and the other will be eliminated. Okay, hindi sila pwedeng magsama in one niche kasi there will always be a winner. And then the other one will be eliminated. Kasi nga competition ito. May winner and then may loser. Example are Paramecium caudatum and Paramecium aurelia. So, yung relationship ng mga ito is competition. Okay, they compete for, They compete for the same bacteria. So both species feeds on the same bacteria, where Paramecium aurelia grows better than Paramecium caudatum. Okay, and then Commensalism or antagonism. So this is the opposite of Commensalism. So ang Commensalism is zero and then positive. Ang Commensalism naman is zero or positive, and then yung isa is affected. Okay? So, there is a negative. Basta may negative, that is already considered as negative interaction. So, this occurs when one microbial population produces a substance that is inhibitory to other populations. One organism produces inhibitory substances that will affect the other organisms. So, example is the oxidation of sulfur by Thiobacillus thioxidans produces sulfuric acid. And leaching of sulfuric acid produces acid drainage whose pH is 1 or 2. Streams receiving acid mine drainage would preclude the growth of most microorganisms in the attached habitats. Okay? So, there were no microorganisms that were mentioned here, pero ang positive or unaffected microorganism here is yung Thiobacillus thioxidans. And whatever that lives in the streams na microorganism, they are affected. That is why they are adversely affected. That is why this is a negative interaction. Next is yung penicillin produces substances on the bread. Okay. Who is affected? Humans. Okay. Okay. Predation, another example of negative interaction. This occurs when one organism, the predator, engulfs and digests another organism, which is called the prey. Very common ito, no? Commonly, the predator is larger than the prey. For example, the engulfment of E. coli by Vexillia fera. Then, parasitism. Ito naman yung most common negative interaction when it comes to microorganisms. Tama ba? Yeah, microorganisms are between microorganisms and then plants. So the population that benefits the parasite normally derive its nutritional requirements from the population that it harms, or call it the host. Okay, for examples, viruses. So usually ang viruses, they are intracellular parasites. So you have learned that viruses could not live without a host. Okay? So because viruses nga, they only have Na, nucleic acid, so most of their needs is derived from other organisms. So some viruses are parasite to bacteria called bacteriophage. So itong bacteriophage, this is a type of virus that infects bacteria. It literally means bacteria eater. So yung virus na yon, it's bacteria and grows within. And what yung nag-grow doon is called the bacteriophage. And because bacteriophages destroy their host cells, okay? So dito, actually, dinevour na nila, kinuha na nila lahat ng nutrients, and then with that, parang nag-evolve sila into bacteriophage. Another example is the mycobacteria or cytophaga produce enzyme that causes the lysis of susceptible algae. Okay, so how does it do its action? So there is the disintegration of a cell of the algae because of the action of mycobacteria, okay, because of their production of enzyme. Then agaricus are attacked by Trichoderma. So this is usually a disease. This is agaricus, it causes disease to plants. That is why Trichoderma is commonly used as a biocontrol agent. And then diamondback moth also, which is at the larvae stage, is eaten by the diadema. So hindi ito microorganism ha, pero just an example. And then tobacco mosaic virus is caused by T4 bacteriophage. Okay. So in continuation of the parasitism interaction, okay, plant disease management by Trichoderma sp. Most biocontrol agents are from the species of Trichoderma aspergillum, Hericiano, Viridae, and then Hamatum. Some strains also cause plant diseases. So not all Trichoderma species are used as biocontrol agents. There are some strains of Trichoderma viridae that causes green mold rot of onions. Okay, so di ba meron yung Trichoderma mismo na not fertilizer. basta ini-spray sa plant wherein yung solution na yon is added with Trichoderma. So how does Trichoderma help the plant? So it identifies and attacks plant pathogenic fungus. So ayan. And then it induces resistance for plant diseases control. So actually, it will protect yung roots. Okay, so that pathogenic microorganisms will not attack the plant. Also, it destroys nematode eggs and second stage juvenile. So most of the nematodes naman kasi they are parasite and they are pathogenic microorganisms. Okay? Okay, to summarize, okay, the interaction between diverse microbial populations. We have here, first column is the name of the interaction. And then, yung second column is the effect of interaction or yung relationship ng population A and then population B. So for neutralism, zero effect, no, for both populations. And then for commensalism, the one organism is unaffected and then the other one has benefited. Synergism or photo-cooperation, both have benefited. Kasi nga ito yung kapag they will cooperate with one another, there is a better result. Mutualism or symbiosis, positive also. And then competition, both are affected, adversely affected. Commensalism, okay, the other organism could either be unaffected or has benefited, but the other organism or population is adversely affected. Then predation, bakit positive? Okay, predation and then parasitism, it should be positive. So yung isa nag-benefit and then yung other one is affected, kaya dapat negative to, no? Same goes through with parasitism. So that's it, I think. So okay, so for your quiz, just identify kung ano yung name, yung interaction doon, and then yung last na gagawin ninyo is you search for a relationship between microorganisms. So microorganism do not include yung mga other organisms. Or basta involve ang microorganism, okay na yon. So you search for a microorganism that has a relationship with other microorganisms or other organism. And then identify kung ano yung interaction doon. So give an example, no? And then explain kung paano. So that's it.